My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. Well, I decided for one little moment in time that I'd tell you, it's been a day since I recorded the first video to this series. Now I'm coming on the second, and while I was doing a live, I kind of decided to carve out the neck of the other emu. We've already kind of worked on one for the last video. I can kind of tell by little round-offs in the neck that this was the one we did the last time around. So I decided this time around I'm going to try to do a little work into this little buddy and try to get a little bit of rounding of the neck and head into him to see what he's going to be. And I'll tell you all a little story about a time when I worked in a game farm and there was a llama and an emu in the same little gated closure together, and don't know what the emu did, but the llama spit on the emu, and it was just kind of a little strange little thing we saw. I was telling that story to a guy at an alpaca farm once, and he said maybe it was something the emu was doing. I say just a little time we round off a little neck and area in the little bitty bird. And I just kind of today decided to create my little thumbnail for my videos, and that was where you'll kind of see that sort of took a picture of an emu off the internet and changed and kind of doctored the color and the filters and things like that, kind of make it a little more interestingly neat looking. I say for all these things we do, we kind of gotta get rid of all this extra kind of crookedness in the wood. I say sometimes you don't often see an emu with its neck tilted back like this, but that was kind of the best thing we could get out of this piece of wood, and kind of come down to where we put a little extra work into the little thing to make it so its neck is going to be kind of, I say just kind of a little good type of slant. And with all due respects, kind of try to remove a little extra from along here, kind of try to remove a little from the wing. This little wing area is just kind of a spacious little thing, and with all this cherry wood, one of the first things I learned when I first went to my Wood Carvers Guild meeting was that cherry was good. I kind of thought at first it'd be too hard of wood for carving, but there's people who can carve it, and I can as well. So with this little thing being said, you see what kind of makes out the little neck, and put in the little place for a little narrow in this to make the thing so it's going to look neat and unique, and try to get a little bit of extra fine art and good wood out of the figure. I say just make it so it's going to be shiny time, good little timing on us, and just kind of get the wings right in their little place. I say then we'll come down and maybe kind of carve the front side a little bit, kind of get a little wood to where it's going to be just a fine little gut for the emu to take. And with all things, I say, just get a little extra, remove it out of the place, kind of put a little soul into the work. And I say, it always feels good to have a knife and a piece of wood in my hands to kind of make this little work show up. And for one thing, I say, just kind of remove along here, take away all this extra little space off the big belly, and kind of show a little time and effort in the work. I say it's kind of good to get the scraps out of the way, remove them from our space, and see how little Australian birds can be such a really neat little critter to work with and make a good living off of what we do. Actually, I don't make a good living off of carving. I say, be nice if I could, but it differs from one of us to the next. Gets kind of hard to do, but I say, it's just kind of how we carve along. And for this little place, rounded the belly off a bit, and now it's time we kind of make a little cut along here, along the leg, try to remove a little line, a little V-cut out of the place where the leg kind of joins with the body to make the little emu shape. And these little birds, they're just kind of what we see. It's almost like the kookaburra and the kiwi, little birds of Australia and the regions all around. They just kind of have such a unique little character in them and interesting little birds. Emus and kiwis both are birds that can't fly, just like the ostrich and the penguin. You know, there's birds that have heavy bodies and small wings. That's why they can't fly. But I tell you, every bird is different. You know, some birds can swim and others can't. Kind of depends on the very nature of it. We kind of see that we kind of got this much on it. I'll tell you all that we're going to come along, take care of a little wing here, make it so it's going to be fine, nice bird. Probably not ever going to be the best emu ever made. It's not going to look perfectly realistic, but it's just going to have a little pizzazz, I say, like a folk-arty look. And for all good things, a wombat is an Australian critter too. Just recently sold one of those that I made, carved it out of redwood, and I tell y'all that this is just kind of, oh, the joy of the work we have in our hands. God created the animals for a reason, and we also know that on the same day He created Adam and Eve, He created the animals of the earth. And so for a little talk, I say, kind of moving along this little extra thing, kind of take it where we're going to see the wings have a little flat little instrument in them to make it so it's going to sound like a good old bird, I say. And for all little living creatures, we know the drill, we know the way. Emus are not as big as ostriches, you know, we'll tell you that much. And so, with all we have to do and say, I tell y'all that we kind of got a little fine piece of work done in here. And it is almost time to end, so thank you all so much for tuning in, and God bless. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to this channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.